You see, Sussex, our top story, and dogs being held to ransom.
We had to meet them in a lay-by, and we did have to part with cash to get Tilly home.
Yes, the story of an elderly couple from Petworth who've been forced to pay more than £1,000 to get their stolen dog back. Tilly, the Springer Spaniel, disappeared in September of last year, and it's thought that she's been used for breeding.
I believe she was taken for breeding. She has been returned to us, and she has just had puppies recently. So, yeah, I think what they do now is they take them for breeding and they try and make some money off them. And, yeah, it's really sad.
Stella McCall there, who's a friend of the Petworth couple. We'll speak to her in just a moment live. But good news is for Tilly and her owners. They have been reunited this last weekend. They're not alone, though. Charities say that the number of dogs being stolen to order or for breeding is on the rise, with as many as 60 a week disappearing across the UK. And campaigners say they want the crime to be treated as kidnap rather than simple theft or property. In a moment we'll hear more about Tilly and the story there. But first, BBC's Scott Ellis has been looking at the issue.
I just had a 30-second lapse of concentration and the thieves took their chance.
Neil Varney backs tougher dog theft laws. In June, thieves broke into his trailer. They took Bonnie, Gambit and Brooke, highly trained gun dogs targeted because they're worth close to £6,000. He has this message for the culprits.
Stick to stealing cars, motorbikes, things that you can replace. You can't replace those pups were born at home.
Lost for words, such as the emotional impact of dog theft, and that is why campaigners want the law changed.
I don't suppose you've seen this dog anywhere. She's missing.
Sarah Fowler goes out looking for lost and stolen dogs in Bristol each evening. She's angered that stealing a pet's treated no differently to stealing a laptop or a TV. The punishment's linked only to the value of the dog.
There really should be tougher sentences. You are stealing a family member, and it's almost like abduction to that family. They think the world of that dog, and it's gone.
There is a real emotional connection to our pets.
Scottish Conservative Ross Thompson's private members' bill will demand a separate law of pet theft. But the government's already said it's not convinced, because emotional distress can be considered by the courts and jail sentences of 1 or 2 years handed out.
When I come outside the shop, he was disappeared, gone. Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
Felt obviously sickening.
Mark Nichols backs a law change. His pet was stolen from outside a supermarket last month.
It should be treated more like, kind of like a kidnapping. He's part of your family. It's like taking a part of that away, I think.
It was Sarah who helped get Mark's pet back. A post she wrote about the theft was shared 55,000 times, making Harvey too hot to handle. A law change may deter thieves, but prevention's still the best option. Harvey won't be tied up outside a shop ever again.
Scott Ellis reporting there on calls for a new law which could see thieves who steal pets sent to jail. I think there is some suggestion that the judge can look at the emotional impact on the cases as well. So maybe a new law isn't necessary, as you heard there from Scott. But I don't want to know whether from you, do you think that there should be a separate law? Perhaps a dog theft should be treated like kidnapping, or a separate offence of dog theft, which has tougher penalties. What do you think? 81333. Start your text with the word radio. Let's go back to the story of the couple from Petworth and Tilly the dog, and Stella McCall, who led the campaign to find Tilly, is with us. Hello, Stella.
Hi.
Hi. We're talking about emotional impact. It was interesting that chap in the report there got just completely choked up, lost for words when he just contemplated his puppies had been taken. What about the impact on your friends in Petworth? What's it been like for them?
Oh, they were heartbroken when she was taken. It was just devastating. And my boys have got a real close connection with her as well. And they, I couldn't tell them the truth. It's just heartbreaking that someone feels they can do this.
Was it a simple theft, or was it a sort of a careless moment of not looking for where Tilly was?
She was actually stolen from her home. So you feel like they should be secure and safe, in their own home. But the reality is they're not anymore. it's really sad that people feel that they can just do that, just come into someone's, garden and just take their dog. Just something so simple like that.
When you found out that someone was sort of had Tilly, how did the ransom come about?
So you basically just get the phone call of, I think I've got your dog. And then you get them to send a photo just to confirm, that it is the correct, dog. And then they'll just tell you the fee that they want you to pay. And you're just so desperate to get your pet home that you'll pay, what they want. And so we had to go and meet in a lay-by and hand over cash to get Tilly home.
It does. That must have been a bittersweet sort of moment.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're so relieved and so happy to have her with you, but you're so angry as well because these people feel that they can get away with it, and, you're having to pay for your own pet that someone's stolen and bred from. It's really cruel.
What about sentencing, on these sort of cases? Do you think there should be a fresh law?
Oh, definitely. I mean, there's a petition out at the moment, the pet theft petition, which is asking the government to reclassify the theft of a pet for a specific crime in its own right. So everybody needs to sign this and try and get it into the government. And just to make, give some punishment for people that are actually doing this, because they know that they can get away with it scot-free at the moment, and it's not fair.
What was that moment like when Tilly was reunited with her owners? That must have been a wonderful moment for both of them.
It was amazing. It was amazing to see. Everyone was so emotional and so happy. And once she kind of realised who we were, her whole face, she was just so happy. Yeah, it was just a blessing for it to all happen to us. We're so lucky.
Thanks for talking to us, Stella. I mean, that's a really good example of what goes on. Now, yesterday, we did speak to a man in Surrey who allegedly was featured in the Facebook video who had Tilly. And we rang up, we asked him for a response. He simply denied any knowledge of all this. He swore at us and he hung up. We've also contacted Sussex Police about the case, and they issued a statement saying there's no viable lines of inquiry. They did visit a caravan site in Surrey in January, but they couldn't identify the caravan or person allegedly concerned with the dog, and the dog wasn't seen. So I think the police have drawn a line under this. But it would be interesting to know whether or not you think, as we've been mentioning, whether or not dog theft should be treated as a more serious crime. BBC Sussex, our top story, and dogs being